Hey, yeah, we in the front row and it's so live.
Shout out to In the Front Row.
You'll see some of those highlights from Montrez and everyone throughout their
Baby,
journey.
front row the best.
Now we in the front row. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the show.
Appreciate you live and showing the world. Lebron James, Jackson, and
Everybody's so hype. High school to the pros. Now we in the front row. Now we in the front row.
Back to the ship.
Now you in the front row.
How does it feel?
Feels good. You know,
Row when it's so live. Got the best view. VIP courtside. It's going down. Everybody's so hype. High school to the pros. Now we in the front row. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the show. Hey, now we ballin', homie. You already know. Hey, it's going down. Everybody's so hype. High school to the pros. Now we in the front row.
Welcome back to the In the Front Row YouTube channel. I am Dylan, and I have my regular co-hosts with me tonight. Fredo and Shireen are both along for the ride. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great.
Fredo, you good?
I'm amazing, and I'm just excited for what's coming.
Yep. We have a lot to catch up on, guys, so I want to jump right into it because it's been an exciting NBA action the NBA has been exciting, I should say, since we last taped. And who knows where to start? There's been so much going on in the NBA. I guess we'll start with yesterday's action because that's who the Clippers are going to play. We will start with the Nuggets and the Jazz series, Game 7. Denver advanced late. So we're going to talk about that. They move on to play the Clippers in the second round. So it's going to be a 2 versus 3 matchup in the Western Conference, which kicks off tomorrow as we are taping. Shireen, we'll start with you. Is it going to be a challenge for the Clippers? What's the keys here for the Clippers as they have to face the Nuggets?
Well, the Nuggets beat a very good Jazz team, and it went down to the wire. And I just want to point out, the camaraderie at the end of the game. When we had one star on the floor in tears and the other star went to go pick him up. So that was very heartening. But they're playing not in altitude. So it's a level playing field for Denver. But I think they're going to give the Clippers some fits, actually. I think that they're on a roll. I think they've been underrated this whole time. And, that's what I think. So I think the Clippers are not going to have an easy time of it. I'm surprised at all these series going, 7 games. But I did predict that the Lakers would win 4-1. So I just want to gloat about that. I know there were some injuries, but whatever. I was right. It was 4-1, but it didn't go 7 games like all the other series. So I'll hold off on my opinion on the Lakers, but I think this game, it's going to go to 7 again.
Yep, I do want to. Okay, yeah, I'm correct in saying it is September 3rd on Thursday. Fredo, I guess we will. We will come to you.
Well,
did you catch Game 7?
Go ahead.
Did you catch Game 7?
Which Game 7? I mean, there's 2 of them, man. Right now,
what about Denver and the Jazz?
But one of them is. Yeah, but right now I'm still stuck right now, guys. The game's not over yet. Thunder have the ball with down 2 right now. Yeah, they're down 2. They got the ball with 1.4. No, it's not over yet, guys. They were reviewing a couple plays. I got the TV here right next to me right now. Thunder got the ball with 1.4 remaining.
Well, we'll talk about that series.
We still don't know.
Houston's up 2 with 2 seconds left.
Yeah. We'll talk about that series in a second. I do want to continue with the Nuggets and the Jazz. The Nuggets just the 12th team in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit. Remember, they were down 3-1. I was very confident that the Jazz would move on. Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray both put on a show in that series as they moved on, and then Jokic down the stretch really sealed it for the Nuggets in Game 7 for them to win. Donovan Mitchell, unfortunately, like you said, drove and lost the ball at the end Mike Conley missed the 3 at the end, I should say. It was a crazy last sequence in Game 7, and I guess we'll see moving forward the Clippers and the Nuggets start this Thursday or tomorrow as we are taping for the second round of NBA action. The game is on TNT, so make sure to tune into that one. I guess, guys, we're going to move on here and continue to talk NBA because Fredo is so invested in the Rockets and Thunder game.
We talk the Eastern
guys, it's 1.1, and they're about to put in the ball right now.
That we want to talk.
All right, do the play-by-play, Fredo.
Yeah, Fredo, we're going to turn the key over to you.
All right. So real quick, Thunder just called their last timeout with 1.1 remaining. They're down to 104, 102. Thunder got the ball. So they just used their last timeout. So whether they go for a 3 or we're going to get some overtime, who knows?
Or not.
You go for the win,
Chris
right?
Paul's arguing. Chris Paul's arguing about a review, and even Billy Donovan's out in the court against the refs. But the refs had a bad game earlier. That Milwaukee game, I'm pretty sure you guys saw it.
Yeah,
those were 2 bad calls. Like the second call was awful.
He's off screen, Dylan.
But yeah, right now, Sadie, there's
I'm trying to keep this show organized. We'll get to the Eastern Conference here. We do want to talk about the Rockets and the Thunder. Like Fredo said, there's a second left with the the Rockets currently leading 104 to 102 over the Thunder. In my opinion, as I guess.
Wow. So they're arguing a foul before the ball was inbounded. Gallinari got fouled. So I think they might be shooting 2 free throws to tie it up with 1.1 left.
Oh no!
That is a lot of pressure. Guys,
so this game's still up.
I guess with 1 second left, I just do want to say it would be a huge blow to the Rockets if they were to lose Game 7, another playoff debacle for Houston.
Yeah.
If that
I
were
mean,
the case.
look at the players here, though, right? We got Chris Paul, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and the Beard and Russell Westbrook.
Oh wow!
Hang out.
This is big. This is.
They got all these buddies.
The Thunder are shooting a one.
They're all friends.
Yeah.
All the
Rockets. The Rockets just did something very stupid right now. They fell before the ball was inbounded. Now the Thunder are shooting 1 shot and getting the ball back. So they make this 1 shot. They're going to be down 1, and then they still got the ball with 1.1 remaining in the game. And Gallinari's going for the free throw. Wow. What an ending this could be to Game 7.
Stats or is using his stats? I bet he's using his stats.
Wow. So here's Gallinari now.
I bet Maury's down there in his ear telling him what to do based on the stats.
Yeah. So, guys, which team, I guess.
And Gallinari missed it. He missed it.
He missed
the free
it?
throw. He missed the free throw. Wow.
So, guys, I do want to get your opinion on something to continue the show here. The Lakers play the winner of this game in the second round of the Rockets and the Thunder. Quickly.
Oh, here it comes. Here comes the inbound 1.1, guys. This is it. Wait. Now they're calling another timeout. God damn it, man. This is what happens when you're right at the end. Yeah, let's go. I think we got 30 seconds.
Whichever you want to answer first, the game's coming on the stretch. Which team would you rather see the Lakers play, the Rockets or the Thunder?
I mean, I feel that they would have a much easier run, surprisingly, against the Rockets. Because for some reason they just don't play defense. And the Lakers have been playing tremendous defense, and they're going to be able to put a stop on those 3-point balls they'll be shooting throughout the time. So I feel, especially with Chris Paul, the general he is and the leader, man, that guy is spectacular. That he can walk away with the W in a couple of seconds. It's going to be kind of scary to see him kind of, he's leading these young kids, guys. Like, they're freaking young. And you got a 35-year-old point guard who's getting paid $38 million right now, and next year he's gonna be getting paid $40 million. Then the following year he's gonna be getting $44 million. Man, at age 37, getting paid $44 million, he's someone special. And the Rockets, it seems like they did a trade together in the offseason. Now they're both facing off each other in Game 7. Like, it seems like none of the teams got better. I mean, they're both facing each other off. They thought they were gonna get better. And the Rockets did a bad trade. They gave up 2 first-rounders as well as 4 total picks, 2 first-rounders and CP for Westbrook. But here's the inbound, guys. Here's the inbound.
What's going on?
Here's the inbound. They blow it up. They threw it away, and game over. Rockets win it.
Oh, so the Rockets Look at Fredo bringing in the scores here.
Rockets winning.
All right.
The Rockets-
So Houston
Rockets winning.
always chokes
It's official.
in the playoffs.
The Rockets win Game 7 officially as we're taping over the Thunder 104-102 to win that series 4-3. Now we can officially talk about it. The Lakers and the Rockets will be the second round matchup of the Western Conference semifinals along with the Clippers and the Nuggets. So we'll get back into it here. Shireen, your early thoughts about the Lakers playing the Rockets since it's literally just fresh off the press.
The Rockets always fold in the playoffs. I watched them play the Clippers. I went to 2 of those games. I think it was last year or the year before, and it was like I couldn't believe it. But my good friend Matt Brazzi is the assistant coach. So he won the G League championship, and somehow they pulled out a win in 7 games. Chris Paul is showing that he is worth the money. Sometimes it's easier to have a bunch of eager young people that you're guiding instead of a bunch of people that think they know better. So Chris Paul was worth the money. I think Houston has a chance if they play right. But, there was some mistakes the other night that we watched with Russell Westbrook. And if they make those kind of mistakes and they get nervous and if they don't have the chemistry the Lakers have, I think the Lakers have a really good chance. And the Lakers, they didn't play up to par in the first round. They still won 4 games to 1. But I think they have a lot in the tank, and Rondo's coming back, and everybody's excited about it.
Yep.
Now you can see what not having Rondo does. Not having that point guard orchestrate your offense is a big deal. So I think it's going to help them.
Yep, we will get to Fredo in a second. So, the Rockets beat the Thunder. I do want to say I said last show that I'm not picking against the Lakers. And even with the Rockets victory, I think the Lakers will win this series easily. I don't think it will be much of a challenge for them. Like Fredo said earlier in the show as we were watching the game, the Lakers defense, I think, will be able to shut down the threes a little better than the Thunder did. Chris Paul had a great Game 7 despite the loss for the Thunder. I believe he had a triple-double, if I'm not mistaken. But it was another hard series for the Rockets. They might be a little fatigued going 7 games. There's been a lot of NBA action lately, a lot of 7-game series. But it's for the Lakers, you have LeBron, who's in playoff LeBron fashion and playoff LeBron mode, which obviously means it will not be stopped. If I had to put an early prediction on this series, I actually have Fredo, listen up to this. I actually have a prediction for a Lakers series. I know last series with the Blazers, I was very back and forth. For this series, I think the Lakers will win in 5. I don't think it will be close. I think the Clippers and Nuggets series will be closer. We'll get those predictions in just a moment. But Fredo, we'll kick it to you now that the Lakers have an official opponent. Your early thoughts, is it going to be a challenge? Are the Rockets going to be a challenge for the Lakers in the second round?
I mean, yeah, they're going to be a challenge throughout the game. They're going to be, putting up those threes. James Harden's going to be getting the fouls that he usually does. Westbrook is turning up the ball. I mean, nothing new for Westbrook. I mean, it sucks to see my UCLA man kind of just not be the guy that he should be, especially, with the money he's getting paid. And I know last series I said that the Blazers were possibly going to get swept, which they were on the verge of getting swept if it wasn't for Game 1 and the Lakers not making their shots. But this series seems like it's going to be an easier task than the first series against the Portland Trailblazers. And if we win to get 5 games in the first round, I'm guessing it's going to be a little shorter than this one, Shireen. I'm going for 4. I'm going with 4. I mean, the Lakers, if they continue to play defense, they play. They're not going to allow the 3-pointers that the Rockets are used to making, and they're not going to score. I mean, they were holding down the Blazers almost 100 points. They're used to scoring under 100 points. And, there was a couple of those games that they were kept under there, but
Lakers are going to lose.
Yeah, it's going to
win 4.
You said they're winning in 4?
I mean, it might be.
The first game, and then they're going to win the next 4, just like they did.
So you're saying Lakers in 5?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It might be the same.
I think it takes Vogel and his other coaches to figure everything out. It takes them a game.
I do want to say,
and it takes them they have.
I do want to say between the Lakers and the Rockets, another dynamic offensive team. That's what the Blazers were last series. They were a run-it-up-and-gun team. I think we'll see what tempo the Lakers do want to play, but they're playing a similar style of a team, which I think will help them in the second round between the Lakers and the Rockets. And I agree with Shireen this time. I think the Lakers will win in 5. Guys, I do want your prediction in the Western Conference, the other matchup. I know we talked about it briefly as the Rockets and Thunder game were going on between the Clippers and the Nuggets before we move on to the Eastern Conference that's already underway. So I guess Fredo, we'll start with you really quickly. Your prediction with the Clippers and the Nuggets now that they're set and underway.
Well, I mean, I knew that the first series, I know the Clippers were, somewhat struggling, and not necessarily the Clippers squad. It was just Paul George. We saw the trouble that Paul George was going through, and I feel that he's kind of finally woke up a little bit. I know he kind of went through some mentally things throughout being in the bubble, and that's why he wasn't able to really be himself. I get it now that you kind of became yourself. You got out of the first round. Now that you're in the second round, I mean, Dylan, I'm not sure if you know this, Shireen, I'm pretty sure you know this, but the Clippers for their whole lifetime, guys, not just 10 years, not 20, not 30, not 40, but their lifetime, they have made it out of the second round of the playoffs. So someone asked me earlier today, a Clipper fan asked me, and they were like, Fredo, do you think we're gonna meet in the Western Conference Finals? And I was like, it's hard to say because in history, you've never made it out of the second round.
They didn't have Kawhi,
it doesn't matter if you have Elton Brand, Sam Cassell. It doesn't matter. They've had other great players. Kawhi is not a difference maker. Kawhi is not going to do that. Kawhi.
Look at Toronto right now. They're struggling against the Celtics.
Wait, Fredo, what's your prediction? What's your prediction?
Yeah, but they struggled before that. But okay. And I'm just being honest, and I'm going with history, guys. I'm going with history, and I am picking Denver in 6. I think Denver will take care of the Los Angeles Clippers in 6 games. I think the Clippers more than 3, and Denver will take them. Guarantee you this. And Dylan, after I'm writing this one, you're gonna owe me dinner, Dylan.
I actually, before we get to Shireen, I will bet you dinner that the Clippers will win this series.
He actually picked this time.
It's officially on the books.
How many games?
And guess what? I'm on the tab.
How many games?
We'll bet dinner between the Clippers and the Nuggets, and 2-3 Nuggets win. I say the Clippers in 6. I think the Nuggets are deep enough to win a few games. I think it'll be a more challenging series than a lot of people thought. Remember, I didn't think Denver would make it out of the first round. I thought the Jazz were going to beat the Nuggets, and they had a 3-1 series advantage, and I'm still a little sad about that prediction was not right, because I thought it was a great prediction, and it went down to the final wire. But, Fredo, how about that? We will bet dinner. Someone pays for dinner. If the Clippers win, you have to buy me.
No push-up.
And if the Nuggets win, I owe you. Shireen, your prediction.
You're gonna film our next series without your top on or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe Fredo dyes his hair blonde.
I still got to get Clipper Darryl back.
Hair blonde.
Oh no.
That was funny.
No.
Clippers in 7.
Oh, she's so
I think we haven't seen the best of Montrez, and he had some issues in the last series because he was late, and unfortunately, he called Luka a bitch ass pussy. What are you?
Right.
Anyway, I think because of that,
he says.
Yeah, we haven't seen the best Lou. We haven't seen the best Clippers. So if they can get it together, I think it's Clippers in 7.
There's been a lot of stories,
but
it's not going to happen for them, I think.
Including the past week, the Clippers, a lot of them
struggled. It's not.
We'll
see, Fredo. That doesn't mean I don't think the Lakers won't beat them, but I want to see the Clippers and the Lakers.
Yeah, I remember. I did get a notification.
True. Yeah, I mean, I want to see it too, but
I guess we'll see. The Clippers and the Nuggets are set to play. Remember, the Clippers and Lakers almost boycotted this past week and ended their season. Obviously, they're going to continue. The Clippers, I know out of their locker room, it was a frustrating time for some players not knowing if they were going to play or not. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Clippers can rebound. They've had chemistry issues all year, guys, and we've reported it all year. So we will see if they can rebound. I do want to move on to the Eastern Conference because that is also underway. They are already in round 2, and we'll start with the game that happened today between the Bucks and the Heat, the 1 and the 5 seed, because Freddie, we were talking about it a bit earlier. The Bucks are trailing the Heat now 2-0 in the series after a very, very controversial ending. In Game 2, Jimmy Butler made 2 free throws to win Game 2 to give the Heat that advantage after Giannis was called for a foul. So I want your opinion on that. Was it a foul?
I mean, the first one. well, the first foul, the one that they put on, they put it on. Who was the guy again? They called it on. Remind me, who did they call the first foul on? And who was the guy? God damn it! No, the guy they called the foul on.
I don't remember what play you're talking about.
The first foul.
Like at
the foul you're talking about. I mean the
Giannis. They called it on Giannis.
Yeah. Who what? No. That was a different one. The first one
on Twitter, everybody was yelling about the referees and that at the end of the game, the referees were dictating the end of that game, and people were very upset because I'll tell you, I think the best officiating I've ever seen without fans around has been in the bubble. Some of the best basketball I've ever seen. And I think the referees have been doing a great job compared to normal, right? I don't see them playing favorites that much. You see everybody yelling and screaming, so it seems pretty even. But for some reason in this game, they decided to be a part of it and dictate the winner. That's what I saw most of the noise online.
I have to agree with you there. I will say it was not a foul. And I know the referees reviewed it at the end of the game. I believe the Giannis foul. And it was the foul on Jimmy Butler, where Jimmy Butler made those 2 free throws, was not a foul. And I know Mike Budenholzer was very upset about it, the Bucks coach at the end of the game.
Ah, come on, Dylan. No,
it was not a foul.
Did you see? Where did Jimmy Butler land? On his feet. You got to give the shooter
That's called embellishment right
after shooting the ball. And if Giannis was, what was that?
That's called embellishment. Like people say.
No, that's called being a foul. That's called a foul. That's what it is, plain and simple. And that's why the refs made the right call and the right team won.
The game, in my opinion, should have gone to overtime tied at 114, and it should have been played in overtime to determine the winner. A lot of people, like Shereen said online, saying that the refs kind of dictated the ending. I think the officiating has been good in the bubble. I'm not going to say all officiating is bad, but I think humans make mistakes, and I think that one was a mistake. I don't think Giannis committed a personal there. But looking forward,
another game that came down to one friggin' basket.
It was a lot. The past 2 days, the NBA action has been crazy between the Nuggets and Jazz finish, between the finish we just saw, between the Rockets and the Thunder, between the Bucks and Heat today. Looking forward, the Bucks are going to have to change their strategies. So obviously, they're going to have to make adjustments. I said earlier in the playoffs, my concern for the Bucks was the home court, or not having the home court, I should say. Milwaukee, a very, very tough place to play over the past 2 years. They've had a very good home record, and I believe this year they had the best home record in the league before the teams entered the bubble and technically aren't playing at home. So they're very tough to beat at home, and I think that could be hurting Milwaukee a bit, having to play on neutral court and having to play head-to-head. The Heat are a very talented team led by Jimmy Butler, and I think it's maybe catching up to Milwaukee, but I think they should have had overtime.
Well, and you guys don't forget, who is on the Heat right now? A former MVP of the championship, Iguodala.
Yeah.
Is on the Heat. You know, and again, as a sixth man, they do things that other people don't do. Like they re-energize the team, and they, you know, and he's a leader, and he's been to the championships how many times, right? So let's not only talk about Jimmy Butler. They
of
also
course, I agree with you. I agree with you. A big impact there in Miami, and let's also forget they have let's not forget, I should say, they have Eric Spoelstra as their coach. If we want to talk outside of players, a championship coach in the past that has coached players like LeBron James, Dwayne Wade. He's had a lot of experience in his coaching tenure, and I think that's helping Miami. They're also a team like we're going to see the Rockets. They can shoot the ball. Miami can shoot from downtown. They have Tyler Hero as well, who's a very good three-point shooter, and I think has helped them in the bubble. You can name a lot of shooters on their team that really have helped them over the course of the bubble. Right now, they have a 2-0 lead on Milwaukee and look to take a dominating command in the series in Game 3. The other Eastern Conference second-round matchup that is underway is between the Raptors and the Celtics, and it's, again, a 2-0 advantage. Boston has taken the 2-0 lead in the first 2 games of the series. Shireen, have you had a chance to catch any? Because you were very high on the Raptors, so I definitely want your opinion of what they have to do moving forward.
I haven't given up on the Raptors. I think that Jason Tatum has been killing it, and he, if he has a bad game, then maybe Celtics will have a bad game. But I think Nick Nurse is a pretty darn good coach, and I'm hoping he digs down deep and figures out how to beat the Celtics. But I think this is going to be one of those 7-game series. I'm not counting out Toronto right now. Somehow Nick Nurse figures it out. And if you think that D'Antoni works with statistics and analytics, Nick Nurse does a lot of that. And he's all about the hustle player. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not counting him out yet.
I definitely
If they lose another one, I'll change my mind. But right now, I still think Toronto is going to pull it out.
3-0 will be a very difficult climax.
That's what I said. If they lose
Game 3
in the next game. If they don't win the next game, it's not
Game
happening.
2 was very close. It was a 3-point differential, a 102-99 to win. 99 win for Boston. Boston 6-0 currently in the playoffs after their first round sweep of the 76ers and now winning the first 2 games of the Raptors series. Fredo, is this series over, or are you agreeing with Shireen here?
I mean, I think it's over. I mean, the Boston Celtics are just too good right now. I mean, like you just said, they're 6-0 in the playoffs. The Philadelphia 76ers still had a good, decent team, and they just lost 4 straight because Boston was just so good. And not just Boston, but, I mean, Jason Tatum. I mean, I'm now thinking back at the 2017 draft and looking that Jason Tatum was taken 3rd right after Lonzo Ball and Markelle Fultz, and just thinking about, damn, that guy should have gone 1. I mean, Jason Tatum is just so good, and Boston got a good future with him, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker too, man. Kemba, it was a great swap with Kyrie Irving, because I think Kyrie would not have made this Boston Celtic team look so good the way that, Kemba kind of fits in. He doesn't really take over the game. He just kind of blends into the squad they already had. And then Brad Stevens as well. That was one of the guys who I was talking about last time. Brad Stevens is just a great coach. But
That's what this is.
But Toronto got
a
little bit of problem.
Yeah, a battle
between 2 great coaches.
Yeah.
I do want to say, in the Boston-Philadelphia series, let's remember that Ben Simmons did not play. I know that's and I think that had a major impact. I still think Boston.
I mean, he can't even shoot, so he's not a basketball player.
He's still talented.
I don't consider him a basketball player.
If he lives up to his potential, could be an MVP candidate one day. I think they need a new coach that they're firing that Brown.
Dylan, to be an MVP, you got to learn how to shoot the ball. This guy is so scared. He doesn't even want to shoot the ball. Like, if you put me in the game, I'm pretty sure I'll make more shots than he will.
I said one day if you
it's crazy. Like, this guy really got a problem.
Somebody might block your shot.
It's crazy, but no.
I said
no. Hey, that's why you pump fake and go under. I'm gonna get some tips from Nate Robinson, see how he did.
Right.
I said one day if he learns to shoot the ball, he could be an MVP candidate. Remember that
one day will never come. Dylan,
I'm not taking it. Did you guys see Joel Embiid's tweet? He said he's still sad.
Yeah,
sad.
He should be. They should have gone a lot further in the playoffs. The past few seasons, I know I'm not saying Boston would have lost the
Lost his
series.
Coach got fired.
Yeah. And I think their next coach has to be a coach that can push both Embiid and Simmons if they're both there.
Well, look at the high
season.
draft picks they got. Like, boom,
Yeah, I know.
boom, right?
I know their general manager came out and said they're keeping both of them, I believe, in the past few weeks. You never know, but I believe teams
General managers always say that.
That's what I'm saying. If you let me finish, I was going to say teams don't like to show their cards, especially just before the draft. We'll see. We'll see if they're there next season. I think Boston still would have won the series regardless. Fredo and I agree that Boston is going to come out of the East or the Eastern Conference. And right now they're 6-0 in the playoffs. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both playing very well for Boston. I do want to get your guys' reaction on NBA news that shook at the end of the Pacers Heat series, which was a week or two ago. The Pacers moving on from Nate McMillan as their head coach. And I want to get your guys' opinion on this because this kind of shocked me. Nate McMillan was really in Coach of the Year talks and then all of a sudden doesn't have a job with the Pacers anymore. Was this the right move?
I'm tired of GMs firing their coaches. They never give them enough time. They just don't. It's not the only coach that got let go. There was another one. There's a lot of coaches that got let go, but they're just I just don't think these GMs and owners give him enough time. He had a talented team. I thought they did really well. They just got Oladipo back. Like, it's not his fault that Oladipo wasn't there the whole time. You know? So, anyway, it's like all the blame always has to fall on the head coach, and I think that's why a lot of these teams don't do well. You know? The GMs go, I got all these first-round draft picks, and I got this great coach. Okay, well, it didn't work out. It's either the players or the coach. I'm not letting go of the players because then I look stupid, but I can fire the coach because I won't look stupid. And I'm just tired of it, honestly. Hang with your coach. At least the Clippers hang with their coach.
Fredo, your opinion, do you agree or disagree with the move?
I mean, just like Shireen said, I mean, everyone's always firing coaches, and it's like, yeah, sometimes some GMs don't have the patience, but at the same time, yeah, they're also in the hot seat. GMs are in the hot seat. If they don't turn around this organization, their job is going to be gone. They're going to be the next ones fired. So sometimes certain GMs come into an organization that already has a guy already set in there, and you know that's not their guy. So they want to kind of move on forward. And I know Indiana, I was looking at some stuff today that Indiana's possibly thinking about moving Victor Oladipo as well. So they might be making some moves there. I mean, they got rid of the coach. There might be some very serious issues down there that, I mean, we kind of don't know. Of course, Indiana is always like a quiet city out there, quiet team. But at the end of the day, just another guy getting fired. Brett Brown got fired. I know the Bulls coach.
Oh, well, he should have got fired. He has a lot of talent, and he didn't. So he should have got fired.
I think Brett Brown, I can see the move. I can see it's been 7 seasons for Brett Brown, and it's more justified than this one, I will say. I don't think –
no one fired Popovich.
And Alvin Gentry, too.
Yeah, Alvin Gentry. Yeah. That was a hard one to take, I think.
That was.
You know, a lot of people, you know, there's not enough black coaches, and here they're firing one.
Nate McMillan also.
And Nate McMillan, too. Another one.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't have fired. I disagree with the move a lot. I understand his playoff record isn't too shabby, but it's only been, 4 seasons, I believe, I want to research that because I'm not sure. But this past season, he was without Victor Oladipo. He was out. Sabonis didn't play in the bubble. There was a lot of injury concerns, and he's still – I know the East is a weaker conference than the West, but he still had his team make the playoffs and still was number 4 in the playoffs. You see the Wizards with all that supposed talent, and they didn't make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. Like, it's – you know, I think he did a great job of getting his team in, and I don't agree with the firing. There are reports that Mike D'Antoni is going to be the next coach of Indiana.
Why? He hasn't done shit.
I was going to say that. My point about that is –
I mean, he's a nice guy, and he lives in my neighborhood, but I've never been a fan.
There's no disrespect to Mike D'Antoni, and now he had a big win tonight with the Rockets, and they'll be moving on to the second round. But if the playoff record was the issue – Mike D'Antoni hasn't been too great in the playoffs.
No,
I know he has a winning record.
Dynamic player on their team they had in summer league, they didn't even play him. I was really mad.
I know I know he has a winning record in the playoffs. I believe it's better than Nate McMillan. But at the end of the day, with the Rockets over the past 4 or 5 seasons, we've seen every clutch game that they needed to win. The Rockets haven't won. They've lost the Warriors a few times. They have a 3-2 lead in the Warriors a few seasons ago. Even now, okay, they beat a very good Thunder team, but now can they go and beat the Lakers? Or it's going to be another second-round exit for Houston. If you're trying to list or propel your team in the playoffs, I don't see that move as that quick.
James Harden should have never left at OKC. If James Harden, KD, and Russell Westbrook were together for 1 or 2 more years, they would have had championships. I firmly believe it.
They bailed very early, and they didn't. Yeah, I can see that, and it's about money. That's probably why. They want, unfortunately, it's a business, and they wanted to secure the bag and move on to get big contracts. Now Russell Westbrook and James Harden playing together again, but the problem is they're without Kevin Durant on their team this time, and that's a very big loss. Well, I'm saying he's on a different team, and that's a very different situation.
Yeah, the Nets made the playoffs, right?
Yeah, without Kevin Durant, but
without Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the East isn't. I understand the East. I'm just mad about the Wizards, but that's a whole other conversation. Guys,
shout out time for shout outs.
Yes, I think we're going to move on here.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about the NBA now. NBA all second-round matchups are underway, so it's going to be a very exciting week here. In the past 2 days of NBA action have been terrific. Game 7s down to the buzzer. We're going to move on to shout-outs because we do this at the end of every show, and we kind of have to move on here. So, Shereen, we'll start with you. Where's your shout-out going?
My shout-out is to all the Arizona Wildcat fans, and I hope I don't get too emotional. But the passing of Lute Olson has touched so many people. I know him through family, friends. It's a devastating loss for everybody. And he was like the John Wooden of Arizona and touched so many lives. And the outpouring is still happening. On LinkedIn, I'm seeing some former Wildcats showing their offer letter from Lute Olson. And he was to people like a father. He never cussed. Even the ASU fans were making fun of his wife dying of cancer, and he pointed up to the scoreboard. I mean, the stories go on, and Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye, Andre Iguodala, just keep going. Derek Williams, you get this long list of Miles Simon, the Lakers assistant coach, was the star of the national championship that he won. It's I could go on and on. Anyway, check out zonazealous.com. I wrote 2 articles, one on what Lute Olson means to me and his family, and the other one with all the reaction from around the world. So shout out Lute. Shout out to Lute in heaven, back with his beloved wife Bobby.
It's been a tough 2020 in regards to that, especially in the past few weeks. Fredo, your shout out.
Well, I mean, my shout out this week is going to be just someone who I didn't think that this person was going to be able to really do what he did over the last, give him credit for almost a year already, a little over a year ago. LeBron James, LeBron James was one of the ones before he became a Laker. I don't know if he was going to be able to do what he did before. And just watching the first series of the playoffs, Laker playoffs in 6 years, watching what he did and how he played triple-double, 40-point games, and just him being the leader, being who he is, being the GOAT. And I'm just excited for the playoffs to come. And, I mean, I'm just going to shout him out early and just shout out for bringing LA a 2020 NBA champion. That's about it. Just an early shout out.
Okay.
A mini shout out to Alex Caruso, because I don't think they would have won those games without him.
It's a team sport.
Right. Yes, everyone deserves it.
Guys, my shout out this week is going to someone I don't think we've ever shouted out on the show before, but I am shouting out Serena Williams. The U.S. Open is underway this past week. It's a different environment with no crowds, no fans at the U.S. Open, but Serena Williams getting a straight set victory in the first round and moving on to the second round. It was her first straight set win since January 2020, I believe, in any match. She's been playing a lot of three-setters lately, and it was a big deal coming into the tournament as she goes for her 24th Grand Slam, which would tie the all-time record. And she actually just passed Christy Efford for most U.S. Open wins ever at 102. So another milestone for her, and it's really her opportunity. She hasn't won a major or a Grand Slam, I should say, since 2017. And it's time for a number 24, and I'm saying this, I believe
That's a good one.
Yeah, so Serena, I believe she's in action tomorrow in her second round matchup, and then she could play American Sloane Stephens in the third round if they both match up. Did Sloane Stephens win today? I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that. But, guys, it could be a possible matchup there. So she has a tough row, but I think she'll get it done for number 24. Let's just all root for her. Guys, we do have to wrap it up here on In the Front Row. It's been a loaded show of content, but go ahead and subscribe to our channel now so you get all this content. Hit the notification bell so you get it when we post it. Go ahead and follow us all on social media at In the Front Row LA. You can find us there for everything that's going on. For Shireen and Fredo, guys, it's been another great show. I'm Dylan. We'll say see you next time.
Hey, yeah, we in the front row and it's so live.
Shout out to In the Front Row.